The first part of this is the technical part, which is that if all of the devils are locked up, why is it that we still have issues? Why do we still sin? Why do we still get into it with one another? Why do we still feel temptation? Why do we still hear whispers? Why is it that we still end up in the same situations? And in some situations, we feel even worse, right? When Ramadan comes around, some people would actually say that I'm feeling depressed because I'm not able to reach the goals that I had, and I still feel distant from Allah. And we're already 1 week in Ramadan, and I don't know what's going to happen. So, the second technical part of this is: are all of the shayateen locked away, or are some of them locked away? So your qareen that the Prophet ﷺ talked about, that is with you, is still there, but the big shayateen that command them and that move things forward constantly and try their best to dissuade the people from acts of worship, to sway them towards acts of disobedience, those are the ones that are locked away. So the big shayateen are locked away, the small ones are still there. What are the implications of this hadith though for us, and how do we actually keep our shayateen locked away, our devils locked away for good, not just in the month of Ramadan, but after the month of Ramadan? The first thing that we should reflect upon is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ, that the only thing that the devils can do is they can whisper. They put ideas, they tempt, they try to cause us to not just disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to be distracted from doing the good deeds of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But on top of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions that the shayateen do not have any sultan, they don't have any control over you, إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّبَعَكَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ, except for those that willingly follow them. The devils do not control anyone, they don't have ownership of you. The only thing that they can do is whisper. And it's your choice whether or not you entertain their temptations and entertain their whispers and allow yourself to go down that path. That's the first thing. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to us an-nafs al-ammara bis-su, that the self commands evil as well. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he mentioned this, or he gave this example of a factory that is processing wheat. And he said that the only time that the shaitan finds an opening to be able to plant some of those seeds and plant some of that, some of those desires and those temptations and those whispers, is when the shaitan finds a void, when the devil finds a void within you. And this is really important here, because when the Prophet ﷺ talked about dhikr, when he talks about remembrance as a fortress that the devil cannot penetrate, one part of that, one aspect of that, the obvious implication of that is that dhikr, is that remembrance repels the shayateen away from you. But the other part of that is that if a person is busy with the remembrance of Allah, how are they going to be tempted by the whispers of shaitan? There's a connection between the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the whispers of shaitan. And if you are busy with good, shaitan cannot busy you with evil. And dhikr is our spiritual oxygen. When a person is pumping out the dhikr of Allah, that remembrance of God, there is no room for the shaitan to find himself in there to dissuade you there.